ready to talk some crap? Who is ready to slam some corporations into the ground? I am. I decided today to do something a little bit different and rank how good were my jobs and all of my past jobs. I have some music in the background. I'm ready to go. I am chill, but also ready for chaos. So my first job, I'm trying to go in order as according to like my resume. My first job when I was 18, 19 was Meijer. I did the service desk. I was trained at the service desk. I did media center. And, you know, we had one service coordinator who was not a good person. Like, management was not good. They didn't care about their employees in the least bit. This is around like 2013, 2014. And I couldn't do it anymore. Like, I couldn't do the people, the chaotic management. It was funny, I ended up, I put my 2 weeks in, and then I ended up throwing out my back. Which that is a whole lore story. Like, I have Meijer lore. I ended up throwing out my back, and I had to call in, when I went to get my prescription the next day. I was at the store, and I was like, hey, so-and-so, I can't. I have to leave. I am here for my scripts. Like, so Meijer gets a... Like, I met a lot of good people there, and, like, my mom worked there, too, which was really cool. So I was always known as, like, hey, are you so-and-so's daughter? And, like, yes, I am. So, Meijer, the first time, was... I want to say... It's about a D. My next job was also inside of Meijer. I decided to work with coffee. My, at the time, boyfriend was like, hey, you should work here. And the management with this one was not that great. The business ended up going under because apparently we didn't get enough business. Like, even though it seemed like every Tuesday, Thursday, like, we'd get a whole flock of Canadians that would just destroy the lobby. So I'm like, how did we not get enough business? The management wasn't that great. I did like, actually, like, making the food. I liked working with the baked goods. I don't know what that was. Felt like something like touched my desk. I did like the hour I got before everyone came in to like kind of chill to myself. It's still about a detour. I ended up, because when the place went out of business, I ended up getting moved to the one that's it's its own store, like with a drive-thru and everything, and there, the management was also not great. With these kind of jobs, I noticed that, like, you don't get breaks. You're told, like, oh, your breaks are downtime in between customers. So, you know what? D tier. During this time, too, things were a little bit blurry between Tim Hortons, Harbor Freight, and Old Navy. I'm pretty sure Old Navy was right in the middle. It was only 3 days. The hours were only 6 to 9, and then I remember they wanted us to work 12 hours on Black Friday. And they're like, oh, you can wear your pajamas and your slippers, and I'm like, I don't care. I was not dealing with that. It was only 3 days. Old Navy was also D tier. Oh god, Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight was nice because I worked with my best friend, and I met some cool people through Harbor Freight. The only thing was, well, not the only thing, Harbor Freight, this location was, excuse me, I'm sorry, I think I might be coming down to something. This was located on, it was like on the border of like my city and the next city over. And it's not a good mix of, like, the two cities. It's very shameless? Like, you know what? It gives me, Shameless vibes. Like, not like, oh god, this place was, like, shameful and... No, like, the show Shameless. That, it definitely gives me that, oh, I need to, I'm sorry about that. I need to, like, blur that. I also need to blur that. I'm so sorry. Speaking of that, though, like, when I had to just censor, I remember there was a guy who came in, and, like, it was open carry, which is fine, but it's like, dude, do you need your whole rifle? And there was a guy who would have ended up following me home, like, he was, like, obsessed with me. This is where I got, harassed the most, with this job. It was just not a good time. Harbor Freight, and this time too, I was also working 2 jobs. I actually know you are going right there. With Harbor Freight, I was also starting it at the same time as the next one. So this guy, Harbor Freight, you get an E tier. At least for my location, it's an E tier. But at the same time, I was starting Chartwell's, which is one of my favorite jobs. I met so many good people there. It was like a family. I did like taking home the food because, you know, groceries. Like, yeah, I dealt with some BS. Like, I did ended up getting shuffled around a lot because I was just, it was like a you're too good at your job thing, so hey, let's put you everywhere, and like filling in for like leads and stuff, and like actually needing to like prepare the food instead of just being like a cashier. So it was a lot. It gave me a lot of experience. I ended up getting my serve safe with Chartwell's. Like, honestly, Chartwell's is, despite how much, like, despite how much I did end up crying because of this job, I was with this job for 5 years, and I was doing so many other jobs, like, on top of this. Like, unfortunately, it didn't pay enough. A tier. I changed my mind. A tier. It didn't pay enough, so I did have to work another job. And that next job was Stathicus, which, it's a cleaning company. I cleaned over at this place called ABB. Which it was a robotics company, and there were also, like, the offices, too, and everything, and this is where I learned to not really like office people. Why are you throwing away this is not a good representation, but your venti cups of your Starbucks coffee in your trash can without dumping them out? You just go, bloop! And, like, with this job, there's one Cards Against Humanity card that, like, my best friend loved. She also worked with me during this time. It was crumbs all over the goddamn floor. Like, and that is just, people are so messy. Like, my management was, he was a nice guy, but for what we went through, I also was working 3 jobs at the time. Stathicus gets an E tier. I was also working at the Meijer optical place, inside of the same Meijer I worked at previously with also Tim Hortons. So this company was called US Vision, and yeah, they had a spot inside this Meijer. And I was working this job with Chartwells. With US Vision, I was there for 3 years. It was... I started out as a greeter, and I don't like sales. I'm not really a fan of sales. This is actually how I'm gonna get there. But yeah, I did sales. The one plus was when you moved up to an optech, or an optical technician, you did get a free pair of glasses, and options up to a certain point. I think if you reached a certain amount of commission. And that was another thing. I don't like commission. Harbor Freight, you had to do your warranties too. And I did not like having to do warranties. And with these jobs too, it's like I realize that if you are not busy, do not say, oh, it's been quiet. Because that's when everybody's going to come up from the back of the store all the way up to the front. I could actually sound like a Jimmy John's commercial when I had to recite the Harbor Freight spiels. But with US Vision, you get to see. I'm not a fan of sales. I did get a cool pair of glasses from them. They don't take my insurance now, unfortunately. But yeah, they're C. I had a good manager. She was nice. Quirky in a quiet way. It's really interesting. And then I met a pretty good friend there. I haven't talked to her in forever, but it was... Oh. I remember the previous manager of Meijer Optical. Oh boy. I am gonna go forget that, and I'm still gonna keep US Vision in the C tier. Oh god, I'm so sorry, guys. There was some crap that happened with the first manager of Meijer Optical. Oh gosh, and like with this manager's friend too. This is how I got my first car. But there was just so much crap in like the first half of this arc. But the second arc, after she left, that manager left, it did get better. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. I am moving on to... Keep in mind, I'm also working Chartwells at this point, too. After US Vision, I decided to go back to Meijer in the bakery because, a family friend of ours, when she was actually living here across the hall, she was in the bakery, and she would tell me how short-staffed everything was, and how she'd be, like, working by herself and stuff, and it was just demanding on her, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna work with you in the bakery. Because I did like the bakery aspects of Tim Hortons, and I also liked the cooking aspect because of Chartwells. And, you know, Meijer, Walmart, Target, those stores are always going to have their flavor of BS. I was consistently put by myself in the end. This is where I met my husband, which that's also its own video. So it did have that bonus. Oh my gosh, I am happy I went back for that aspect. But everything else, it was like, because I started to cashier at at a certain point too, and because I thought I could do it. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought I could do it. So you know what? Meijer just. And it was nice working with my family friend. Let me know your experiences with these places too, please. I did. Meijer's back in. You know what? Because I met Chris, this is a C tier. This is a C tier. Chris is my husband, of course. But oh my God, no! Wait a minute. I'm not trying to think about during this time because this time was, oh my God, awful. I met my husband, but like I was also dealing with like my ex at the time too, and oh God, ew. I'm gonna move on to. I'm just gonna keep it at C. I'm unlocking things, and you guys are like watching me unlock things, and I'm like, I am glad I have therapy on the 27th. The next job after Meijer, while I'm still working Chartwell's, is Big B Coffee. It's a coffee shop because I also did really, really enjoy working with coffee. That is, like, if I could, like, grow my own coffee and, like, open up my own shop, like, and not have to, like, rely on, like, another, like, franchise to, like, do my own thing. Because there's a Tim Hortons for sale, not too far from me. I would really like to, like, do my own stuff. So I thought Big B would be a good way for that. And I had great people. My friend was my manager, which I'm grateful I got to work with her. I give her props because like she was doing like the store manager thing and like that's hard, that's stressful. But it was also just chaotic there. I'm not gonna give Big B a D. I did like my free drink per day. But it was just like stressful. I realized I can't do like it's the drive-through. It's the drive-through. I can't do drive-thrus. Ding, I almost have like a PTSD thing from it. And it really depends on like who owns the Big B. Big B gets a C. After them, I decided, well, let's still work with coffee and baking and move on to Panera. I really, really liked getting to take home the pastries and I really liked getting to take home like the bread, the pastries, like the cookies. Like that was awesome. And like when we had to like dispose of the hummus. Oh no, hummus! Let me take some bread or something and eat it. With Panera, when you work with them, at least I don't know if it did change, you get a 60% discount while you're working, and then like when you're not, it's kind of a whole thing that I was confused with. I met some great people there. I ended up getting my forensic science textbook to a gal there who wanted to get into forensics, and now I regret it. It's like a $70 textbook now, too. But I was working Chartwells at this time, too, and I was working long hours, because I was working Panera, and, like, I was like, please do not, like, work me back-to-back shifts with Panera, because, like, that would be, like, 14-hour days, and I would already do long days with Meijer. I would actually skip my breaks. D. Because they didn't, no, D tier, D. Done. D. Panera though, also, but yeah, I was working like back-to-back shifts with like Panera, and with in a fast food place such as Panera, Tim Hortons, honestly, Big B as well. These places, when your schedule says that you get out at a certain time, like say you work 3 to 9, what that really means is you work 3 to like 11 midnight. Like, depending on your speed, like, I'd be working until like say 10, and my closers would leave at like 8, 9, and we would be slammed up until like 9, 10. So it's like, just how it was ran, Panera gets an E tier. I told them not to work me back-to-back shifts, and then they still did it. So, E tier. I don't know if anyone wants to see an F tier. Like, what job could you have that's possibly an F tier? Delicious was tequila. My F tier job. I was only there for 3 days. I'm working Chartwells at this point too. Actually, no, I decided to leave Chartwells because I wanted to do a, like, more, like, I'm not going to say that being a lunch lady is not an adult job. I'm not trying to say that. I wanted I was only making, like, 11 an hour. I wanted something more stable, and yeah, I wanted something just more stable. So I'm like, you know what? I want to get into security. I'm a criminal justice major. I want to get into security. My mom did security. She was in line to be a cop, but it didn't work out. But that's okay. So I'm like, let me try security. I found Teach Out Security on Indeed. And I ended up having to go up to Flint. I'm from Southeast Michigan. I had to go up to Flint for like interviews and stuff, and this is only 3 days, but it was probably one of the worst 3-day periods. So I'm gonna say a little bit of something for context. So I had to work at a hospital that was in downtown Pontiac. I'm not going to say exactly, like, which one, but, like, this is the city I was working in, downtown Pontiac. Go ahead. Go ahead, search it up. Working down there, and I had found out everyone was basically having affairs with each other. Like, the head up guy, like, the, like, big supervisor dude, who, I don't understand why he was doing this. His wife was a snipper in the military, but he was having an affair with the supervisor chick who was working in Common Ground in Pontiac. And for context, Common Ground is like a crisis center that you can go to. There was security there. But I found out that that's also where they send their crappy security guards. And like she trains them over there. So like those two were having an affair with each other. There was like another one, I'm pretty sure, that was going on, but that was like the biggest one. There was a guy who would take like 2-hour craps, and no one would say anything. So it's like, what are you doing for 2 hours? My pay, it was supposed to be $12 an hour, but for the first check they paid me like 10 or 11, and then after that they're like, okay, you're gonna get 12. We had to do like ride-arounds like in the city, like downtown, like in that hospital area, and in one of them is a parking garage, and that was fun. I did get the hang of doing this in a parking garage. The car was awesome. I liked having like a bigger up vehicle, and I loved having a backup camera. But the thing is about this, I did not remember signing paperwork saying that we were insured on the insurance for these cars. I really don't remember signing anything like that. And I remember them saying, like, oh, if you get pulled over, it's your fault, like, we're not gonna bail you out. They also had, like, one of their cars was missing a front bumper. And, you know, I know it's kind of like customary around the area to not have your front bumper. But, really? We're not gonna have your pack. And one thing I really didn't like, so this was October when I did this. Actually, no. Was it October? Yeah, it was October-ish. We had to start, like, kicking homeless people out out of the lobby area in the hospital. Which I didn't like that. They're like, hey, sorry, you have to go. And, you know, it's Michigan, it's cold. So yeah, that part I didn't like. No one wanted to be there. Like, it had the vibe of just, no one wants to be there. So, teach out security, I'm sorry that was so long. I ended up telling teach out that, I had to take care of my mom. And I returned my uniform, and that was it. I was just done. By the way, with the second time I was at Meijer, like, I will do a whole video for my Meijer lore. It's just something I gotta do. So, after I left teach out the third day, I called our food service director for Chartwells, and I was like, hey, so-and-so, can I come back? And he was like, I didn't take you off the payroll. Based! People had kind of issues with him, like, he could be kind of snippy, but I think he was also quitting, like, vaping at the time, so it's like, I get it, like, you're quitting, that's hard. But yeah, I didn't take you off the payroll, so I went right back to Chartwells, and everyone was just happy to see me. Yeah, like, it was just kind of like same old, yeah, it was, during my Chartwells time, I decided to work at Planet Fitness. This is actually when, COVID was gonna start, working at Planet Fitness, and I met one of my good friends who was in my bridal party at Planet, so I am really glad for Planet, like, thank you for that, and it was just, you know, it was cleaning the equipment, and, like, which I didn't mind the cleaning aspect, it was, like, kind of helping people, and, like, I don't mind front desk, but at the same time, I'm also like, go away at a certain point. Yeah, so I worked weekends at Planet, and, like, mornings, so I was doing 2 jobs again. Oh my gosh, dude, this was awful, like, I hated working 2 jobs, but Planet was okay. I got the free Black Card membership. Management was kind of, but the job itself, I didn't like doing tours. I did not like doing the tours. But you know what? Planet gets a B tier. It's fine. This piece of United Wholesale Mortgage. UWM for short. This place. So this was during still COVID time, but everyone was allowed to come back to the office when I started. You were just a person there. I am so sorry. Wow, you are not a person there. You are just another like robot person who can hit commitment all the time, and you can fulfill their unreasonable standards, and Like, I did... The one good thing about working at UWM was you got your... When I was working there, you got your insurance, basically right then, within that, like, 30 days. I also left Chartwells at this point, too, because I wanted something more stable and more, I don't know, adult, professional, so I left for UWM. Why? Yeah, you're just another person there. My department, if anyone's familiar with UWM, my department was processor assist. So, we had to fetch, insurance documents from title companies, we had to do payoffs, and we had to just do, like, straight up property insurance. Which payoffs were easy, that was okay for the most part, but, you learn how stupid working with these insurance companies are and how complicated things can be. Like, Wells Fargo, I don't like Wells Fargo. I mean, can I say why? My memory is awful, but I know I remember I don't like Wells Fargo. Liberty Mutual was kind of okay to work with, and Geico was pretty easy too. But yeah, you're just another person. My commitment when I got onto the floor was 12. 12 loans completed. And mind you, you were also on hold for 2 hours. And you can you open up another screen for another loan? Yeah, you could start it, but then you have 2 going at the same time, and you're gonna need you need another phone. So they're just unrealistic standards. Heaven forbid you're away from your desk for too long. No. F. To get out of there, I decided somehow that I wanted to become... I remembered that there were paraprofessionals at the same school district that I was working with Chartwells through. So with me being a para, I was to be working with adult special needs students who, in Michigan, that goes up until 26. And I loved the students. Yeah, I absolutely loved the students. They were fine. Like, but with the teachers, not so much. They were crazy. Like, everyone was like, okay, we're gonna do this. And then someone else, there were like 3 of them, and then someone else was like, no, we're gonna do this. This is how we do this. Like, things just wouldn't match up. And, like, I would also suggest things, that could be done, and they're like, no, we're not gonna do this. So anyways, we're gonna do this same thing that Liz just said, but we're not gonna credit Liz for this. And I'm like... So... And then, I don't know why, during this time too, so in this building, yeah, they had, like, it was like an alternative school. They had this adult special ed, and then they also had, these gifted kids, like really smart kids. It was like a K through 5 program. Yeah, K through 5. And they would need help down there, and so I would go down there, and it was just never in ratio. That's the thing I learned with, like, childcare jobs. Like, things are never in ratio. Like, things are never done to curriculum as well. It's always like, So we have this plan, but anyways, like, woo! And, like, they throw the plans out the window, and we're like, we're gonna do reading time instead, and it's... They tried to have it structured, but there was no structure. The kids were fine, of course, but I would also have to... I, like, led gym class one day, and I'm like... Why am I doing this? And like, especially like now I like gym, but at the time I was like, I don't want to do gym. So with this district, my current security company still had a contract with this district, and so I was in one of the lobby areas with one of the guards. And there was two of them at the desk. The other one kind of had his back turned to me. You get... Staff make a hell of a difference, and that staff did not help. I ended up leaving. For my current security company. So, I ended up asking the guard there, I was like, hey, are you guys hiring? Because I still wanted to get back into security. And I loved working in schools with Chartwells and being a para. Like, schools are kind of just my environment now. So I asked if they were hiring, and the guy behind him leaned over and was like, desperately. And so this ended up being my current security company. It was under a different name. We had a different owner. Unfortunately, they did get bought out by who now owns it. But not much has changed, just really the name. But yes, it is. Yes, it did like, I was working there when Oxford happened. So that was actually the year I started. But that didn't deter me. I still wanted to be there with, I still wanted to be there for the kids. And this job did put me through the ringer because, like, I did have to go on medical leave. My spot got replaced by a sub. So now I'm just, like, a floater. And I ended up having to go to that same place, that same common ground place that I mentioned with Teach Out. It was bad. But I still stayed. My managers are amazing. So, despite everything, yeah, I still stayed. My hours are picking up now. I'm still with this company. It just sucks, because you have to find something over the summer, but this honestly, S tier, it's so cool getting to make connections with, like, the students and staff, and just getting to, like, you kind of make a name for yourself there, honestly. And it's customer service too, basically. So, it is something I would recommend if anyone wants to start in security. Because this counts towards my degree. I can use, like, my experience, with my degree. So that's sweet. During the summer, I decided to get a job. Because I wasn't working summer school, this previous year. So I was like, you know what? Let me work at Bucks let me work with books. So I wanted to do Barnes & Noble. I didn't think it would be that bad, and I was going to be, like, in the cafe. So Starbucks. And there was a new one that was going to be opening up right by me, and which was perfect. So to train, we started off at that cafe, which was fine. That was all right at first. But then when we got to our new store, it was chaotic setting up. It was cool getting to, like, shelve the books. And, like, getting to, like, have things, like, literally put on your reading list. Like, ooh, this looks good, this looks good. It's kind of dangerous a little bit. What is nice with Barnes & Noble is that you get a 50% off discount with, the cafe. hardcover and softcover books. So, which is amazing. One of my paychecks went right back to the store. But how it was ran, and one of the supervisors just was so, like, lackadaisical with, like, regarding mental health. 'Cause, like, we got short-staffed in the cafe, which, I mean, it happened. So, like, we'd be by ourselves, like, during close and, like, during open. And, like, maybe sometimes we'd get, like, lucky and there'd be another person with us. But, so it was just an absolute mess. And I'm saying a lot, I'm sorry. Yeah, absolute mess. I cried so much with this job. I'm so grateful that, my security job started again, so I could go back to, like, being regular. I can't do retail or food service. Like, if I were to do that again, it would be probably with the school. Outside of that, heck no. No. D. There we go. I rambled for a very long time. And sorry, like, for my, like, speech speed, too. Yeah, I think I'm coming down with something. But yeah, that is my experiences with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 jobs! That is, you got to see my resume. And I'm very proud of my security job. So, what are your experiences working with these places, if you've been working at any? Like, let me know. Let's just kind of, like, bond in the comments. I love when I meet people who worked at UWM, because it's like a solidarity kind of thing. So yeah, just let me know. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for staying through this long-winded video. Yes, have a great day, guys. I know right now it's like 49. I'm gonna go outside and walk my dog. Take care, guys. Love you. Bye.